Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Stuhr Crazy Podcast. This is Rob Nelson. I'm here with Amos Anson, the current owner of the Hedde Building in downtown Grand Island. We're going to talk about all things the Hedde Building. We're going to get a tour from Amos. So Amos, where are we at today?
We're at the Hedde Building today for the tour. So currently, everyone will have to visualize it if they're just listening, or come on down and peek in the windows, even better. We're standing in what is an addition that Fred Hedde's wife put on the building in 1918.
How old is this building originally?
This is something that everyone will have to correct me on, but there's a picture on the of the top of the building. There was a cornice originally when the building was built, and I believe it says 1895, I believe, but we're gonna have to check that. 1882, I don't know.
I think it's 1891. But it might be somewhere in there. What's important is that it's a founding building to the Grand Island community, and it's just really great that this whole project is getting underway.
Yeah, so last year I did a speaking engagement for the Historical Society over at the Chocolate Bar. One of the things that stuck with me was Fred Hedde was like the old guy of the group, the city builders. It's fascinating to me as a builder and developer that, just immigrating from another country and then moving somewhere with a group of people and hiring a town building crew to just like the sense of adventure that you had to have to do something like that. I just admire the gumption of somebody like Fred and the other folks to just strike out and create a town. It's the coolest thing. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to renovate his building, his namesake. It's been really fun to see the different stages and phases of renovation of it. Like figuring out that, this was an addition that the wife put on. It's just been super fun. So I can walk us around and show you some of the things and then jump in whenever we need. So we're standing on this is a 28,000 square foot building. It's pretty big. It's one of the biggest ones downtown. It's not something that somebody like me can bite off all at once. We're talking millions and millions of dollars to renovate a building from its entirety all at one shot. So we're kind of taking it in phases, moving, renovating a space and then moving someone in, and then, so we can get some cash flow.
Absolutely.
So this is one of the spots that has been renovated already. We're standing on the original maple floors that Fred Hedde's wife put in.
Wow.
Yeah, we renovated them. And part of what I love to do is I'm not a historic preservationist, but I appreciate history and I reuse it where we can. We're not taking it back to pristine condition. We're just filling them in. The wall behind you guys, those are actually the studs that were in the walls from upstairs. And the staircase is made of the floor joists that we had to take out in some of the spots, and we reuse them.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's so fun being able to use that stuff.
They look beautiful.
Yeah, they turned out really sharp. You can see in the beauty salon, the tin ceiling is up there, and right above us, there's some tin ceiling. So one of the balances that you have to have with these historic buildings when you're renovating them is meeting modern code.
Yeah.
So when you have people living upstairs and businesses down below, you have to have a certain fire separation. And so in the 1920s, when the addition was put on, city code, or I'm assuming it was city code at that time, might have been called something different, but it didn't require a separation. So there was no lath and plaster. So it was just tin, floor joists, and then some wood. So if the thing caught on fire, it's just gonna go. Nowadays, they've learned from the past, and you have to have a fire separation. So we actually painstakingly took down the tin ceiling in here. We put sheetrock back up, and then we're putting the tin ceiling back. This project has taken us, it took about 2 years for it to get off the ground. It was crazy. Trying to finance something like this is not the easiest thing in the world to do with tax credits and all the different grant programs and everything. But construction-wise, just over a year, probably a year and 3 months. We've actually been working on it full time. So it's taken a little while. It's a little slower than I'd like, but with today's challenges that we face. Finding tenants slows down for a little bit, but everything's picking back up, so hopefully we'll be able to continue on. So we haven't necessarily found interesting objects, but I'll start taking you through the building and showing you some of the interesting parts of the architecture that there's a spot in the basement, and I'll show it to you in a second, that I cannot figure out what it is. So I'm really hoping somebody listening or somebody in this room can help figure it out. So this is a start of what made me fall in love with this building. It's the sandstone. Another kind of, not mystery necessarily, but you can see the footing over here. So these giant stones on the bottom are the footing. So that's where they put the footing down first, then they built the wall on top of it. So here is the great mystery that I really can't figure out.
Oh, it's like a grotto thing.
Why is there an archway 5 bricks tall, 2 feet off the ground?
Wow.
There is a 6-foot void between this building and the one next door, the Nielsen's building.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Somebody said something about horses. Did they? I don't know. That's just hearsay, but in all of my experience, there's no reason for that to be there. Right now we're 8 foot below the street outside. So
challenge accepted. We'll see what we can find out.
yeah,
For sure.
it's
Taken.
absolutely nobody that I've shown it to has not even any clue. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Like the guy that started over here went on. The guy over here probably chose a different career.
Right, it's very...
This is actually a really good wall compared to some of them that we'll see
Cool.
later on in the tour. But yeah, mystery. Personally, my reason I love these old buildings is because they tell a story. You could build a building anywhere in town and put a suspended ceiling in it and put some carpet down and move a business in. That's great. That has its spot. I like my tenants of my buildings, my renters, to have that story. So whenever anyone walks in the visitors bureau, those guys have a story to tell them every time. And as a landlord, I think that sets us apart downtown. We have that story. So that's one of my main driving factors as to why I love renovating these old buildings and keeping them.